What if Deku was a vigilante? Chapter 5. Deku sat alone in his room, staring up at the ceiling. He needed to figure out how Overhaul was making the bullets, but he needed to be careful. These guys were strong, and Deku didn't fancy the idea of finding out if he could take them. I can do this. Overhaul is just another villain. I just need to appeal to his ego, said Deku. Meanwhile, across the country, Izuku was sat in the workshop talking to Hatsume. The two laughed at a joke she'd made as Deku made some adjustments to his new arm. The sleek black metal whirred as he moved his new fingers. Ah, I can move my pinky again. Thanks, I wouldn't have been able to figure it out without you, said Izuku. Oh, don't worry about it. You did most of the work making our baby. I just helped you across the finish line. You really have a knack for this. I'm glad you joined the support course after May stopped. She was usually very blunt, but working so closely with Deku for so long had helped her learn a few things, and she knew that certain topics were hard to talk about. It's okay. Though I wish I was still a hero, I'm happy I'm here. I got to meet you and build amazing things, said Izuku. Izuku twisted his new wrist around, feeling that it wasn't as flexible as it should be. In a way, I'm still a hero. He's out there doing good in his own way, said Izuku. Izuku pulled out a newspaper and the headline was about him. Mysterious Vigilante takes down mob boss in a flash. What do the heroes think? Said the newspaper. Yeah, I saw. A lot of people online approve of what he's doing and are telling the Hero Commission to just give him a license, said Hatsume. That would be great, but he wouldn't want that. He hates all the evil he did in the past, and for him to be given a license as a hero would seem like it's all forgiven. My brother is an idealist who believes that heroes should be kind as well as strong, pure as well as mighty. I guess there's still some love for All Might in there somewhere, after all. If he was forgiven and made a pro-hero, it would be a spit in the face of everything he fights for. He truly believes he isn't a hero, but won't stop doing good, said Izuku. Do you feel the same way? You're basically the same guy after all, said Hatsume. Deku lowered his head a little. I believe a hero is someone who fights for right, no matter what happens in the past. I need to believe that people can change, that people can learn from their mistakes and grow from them, but I also know it's not that simple. We suffered at the hands of someone who is called a hero, I was able to move on, and forget, and forgive, but he was trapped with that hate and rage for years, being fed lies and manipulations to keep him angry at the world and at Hero Society. We were all lucky that All for One didn't get him earlier, otherwise I think we'd all be dead, said Izuku. Hatsume put her arm around Izuku, pulling him into a hug. He sounds pretty cool, said Hatsume. Yeah, he is. I just hope he's doing alright, said Izuku. Well, didn't you say he's got cybernetic leg joints? Maybe one day he can come round and the three of us can make a baby together, said Hatsume. Doku's eyes went wide until he figured out what she meant. Even with a couple of months, he still hadn't completely gotten used to Hatsume's interesting vocabulary. Let's get to work. I think the wrist still needs some modification, said Izuku. Izuku took off his arm, placing it on the table. I told you to go for the rocket launcher instead of the hand, said Hatsume. Deku smirked. She was a very interesting friend. A few minutes went by, and there was a heavy knock at the metal door. Izuku walked over, carefully pulling the massive door open. It hurt a little bit, because of his body had the permanent damage from All for One's torture. The door opened, and Deku was shocked to see All Might smiling down at him. Within seconds, the hero's massive hand was on Deku's shoulder. It's good to see you, my boy. It's a shame we don't see each other as much anymore. I'm sorry, said All Might. Deku's heart stang a little. He knew his brother was doing good, but it did feel like he let All Might down. Hey, All Might, how are you? Asked Izuku. I am well, thank you, said All Might. All Might looked behind Deku, seeing the smooth black metal arm on the table. Oh my boy, that looks incredible, said All Might. Izuku blushed a little. He had missed All Might's praise. Well, it's only a prototype. We're still working out the kinks and some major flaws, asked Izuku. Like what? Asked All Might. Sometimes it explodes, said Hatsume, excited. As with most of Mei's inventions, Deku's new arm had a habit of exploding. Neither of them could figure out why, no matter how hard they looked. I see. What is your name, young lady? Asked All Might. Mei extended her gloved hand to All Might, who shook it vigorously. Mei Hatsume, at your service, said Hatsume. Ah, I see. The one at the sports festival. It's a pleasure to meet you, said All Might. So, All Might, what's up? Asked Izuku. All Might's smile vanished. It regards him, your brother. Can we speak in private? Asked All Might. Mei smiled, grabbing Deku's arm and a few tools and walking off. He's been spotted. My old friend, Sir Night-Eye, saw him with a member of the Yakuza, who is suspected of selling weapons, said All Might. What are you thinking? Asked Izuku. I'm not sure. You know him better than I do, said All Might. These weapons, anything interesting about them? Asked Deku. It is said that they temporarily take away a person's quirk, said All Might. Incredible. Was that told to the press? Asked Izuku. No, but they found out anyway. It caused a lot of trouble, said All Might. If it was broadcast, then he'll know about it too, said Izuku. Is it possible that he just joined them? You know how he worked with the League of Villains, said All Might. No, he'd hate that. The only reason he was with the League was because All for One tricked him into thinking he was doing the right thing. I'm sure he won't be tricked like that again. No, he's got a different plan. I think it's infiltration. He's pretending to join them, to figure out how they make the weapons, said Izuku. Why? Asked All Might. Either to destroy them, or stop them from possibly trying to perfect a version that permanently destroys quirks. Or to get his hands on the perfected version, said Izuku. All Might looked scared. Why would he want that? Asked All Might. He's hurt and angry. So many people in his life have hurt him, and he refuses to kill. I can think of a few people he would target with those weapons, said Izuku. I need to stop him. I can't let him go after All for One alone, said All Might. I wasn't talking about All for One. I was talking about Karchan. He beat Karchan within an inch of his life, just so he could feel powerless for a moment. And now he's given the chance to make him feel that forever? I don't envy his position, said Izuku. All Might stood up. Thank you, young man. I still need to go stop him, though. He's a vigilante. He could get himself killed if he's not careful, said All Might. Meanwhile, Deku was walking around the underground base behind Overhaul. He knew the villain wouldn't take him to the weapons factory on his first day, so he needed to investigate for himself. Deku subtly powered up to 20% of One for All, feeling the powerful quirk burn through his body and mix with velocity. His normal maximum of One for All was 15%, but today he required a little extra juice. The moment Overhaul was distracted, Deku activated velocity and time slowed to a crawl. Deku smirked, sprinting off. He knew he had about a minute in his time until Overhaul noticed him missing, so he needed to act fast. Sprinting down the corridors, Deku searched room after room but couldn't find anything. Annoyed, Deku shot back just in time. You truly are an interesting young man, said Overhaul. Deku smiled, hiding the pain. One for All's immense power burned through him, but he needed to keep calm. A few minutes later, Deku tried again, but still couldn't find anything. Maybe it's not here, said Deku. Deku tried again. As he shot through the underground base, Deku spotted a heavy iron door. It was bigger than the others, and was locked with a padlock. Deku smirked as he crushed it using his immense strength of One for All, then pulled the door open. Inside was some sort of lab. Distilling and purifying equipment ran up and down the walls, and at the centre was a chair covered in blood. Deku walked in, looking around. On the table was a couple of bullets and some bandages. Are they using someone to make the bullets? Who? Asked Deku. Deku shot off again, taking several of the bullets with him. He needed to find whoever they were tearing apart over and over again. A little down the hall, Deku opened another door and was terrified at the sight inside. A small girl sat on her bed, crying into her arms and legs covered with the same bandages that Deku had seen earlier. Deku's heart fell into his stomach. No, they couldn't be so evil, asked Deku to himself. Deku walked forward, not noticing time returning to normal. Slowly he bent down in front of the girl. I'll get you out of here, said Deku. Who are you? Asked Eri. Deku was surprised when she responded, jumping to his feet. I got distracted, said Deku. Alarms fired all over the base as Overhaul realized Deku had vanished. Deku smiled, reaching out for the girl. Don't worry, I am here. Let's get you somewhere safe, said Deku. Somewhat reluctantly, she took Deku's hand, and the green-haired boy scooped her up, carrying her in his arms. Hold on tight, said Deku. Deku shot off at maximum speed. Both powerful quirks roared with power inside him as he tore through the corridors. Seal all exits, screamed Overhaul. In an instant, Deku was trapped, but he refused to give up. Using his incredible strength and speed, Deku pummeled the wall in front of him into dust. However, before he could escape, the wall was replaced with another. Hand over Eri and I'll let you live, said Overhaul. Deku slowly turned around to see the entire Yakuza staring back at him. You were torturing this poor girl, and for what? So you'll make some money making weapons? Asked Deku. I didn't do it just for money, no. I will rid the world of the filth that is Quirks, and return it how it should be, said Overhaul. Two of Overhaul's minions pulled out guns, firing early-stage Quirk-destroying bullets at Deku. Using velocity, Deku caught them, throwing them back at the group. You won't hurt her again, said Deku. Deku shot forward, kicking Overhaul across the face, then grabbed one of the bullets, stabbing it into him. Deku shot back to the wall and powered up a little more, then smashed his fist into it. The massive shockwave threw Mimic across the room. Seconds later, Deku was gone. Slowly, Overhaul got up. He was dazed by the kick, but it didn't stop his blinding fury. Find him. Now! Screamed Overhaul. How, sir? We have no idea where you could have gone, asked Chronostasis. Then who does? Screamed Overhaul. The gang thought for a moment until a very uncomfortable thought crossed his mind. Shigaraki. He might have an idea who the kid is, asked Overhaul. Everyone stared in shock. You can't be serious, sir. The League of Villains? Asked Chronostasis. They have resources. There is a chance they know something. Let's get going. Rapper, Chronostasis, Mito, and Tengai, you're with me. The rest of you stay here. It's time that we meet this League of Villains. Deku sprinted at maximum speed through the city, One for All's green sparks trailing behind him as his speed increased further and further. Buildings were flying past, and as Deku quickly left the city, sprinting along the side of a massive highway. Don't worry, Eri. You'll be safe, said Deku. Deku lightly squeezed the girl in his arms as his speed increased even further. Deku was only now realizing that since he got One for All, he had never tested his top speed. This was mostly due to the fact that the time-slowing effect of velocity made it harder for him to calculate speed. For Deku, it felt like he'd been running for about 10 minutes, but for everyone else, observing him, it had barely been 10 seconds. About a minute and a half later, Deku arrived at his destination. In front of him stood the shining glass of UA. Deku's heart sank a little. Last time he was here, he helped the villains attack. That doesn't matter now. These are the only people who can protect her, said Deku. Deku sprinted in and ran into the principal's office. The small, fluffy animal was on the phone mid-conversation when Deku ran in. Time was still slowed, so even the high-tech security systems of UA hadn't detected him yet, and they would soon enough. Deku powered down, whilst at the same time he pressed the hang-up button on the principal's phone. You can call them back, said Deku. Nezu nearly jumped out of his skin at the sudden materialization of Deku in front of him, holding a small girl. Midoriya, what are you doing here? Asked Nezu. I need your help. said Deku. That's rich. You attack my school, maim my students, and come in here demanding help, said Nezu. I know, I don't deserve it. I will take all of your anger, but please, don't be stubborn, said Deku. Deku put down Eri on one of the chairs in front of the principal. This is Eri. You know the stories about the bullets that can take quirks? Well, you're looking at the source, said Deku. Nezu's face fell when he saw the bandages covering her body. Where was she? Said Nezu. A group called the Shiai Hasaiko, said Deku. The Yakuza? Asked Nezu. Deku pulled out the bullets he had taken earlier and dropped them on the desk. Their boss wanted to use them to destroy all quirks, but he can't without her, said Deku. Deku bent down, smiling in front of Eri. The little girl was clearly terrified, but also relieved. I can't protect her. They will come looking for her, and this is the only place strong enough to make them back down. I'm sorry for returning, but she is more important than either of our prides, said Deku. I understand. Very well, we will protect her, said Nezu. Deku bowed deeply before getting up to leave. Oh, and take care with her quirk. I heard something about it being able to kill with a touch, so maybe get a racerhead involved, said Deku. Nezu was annoyed, but accepted. As Deku neared the door, Eri jumped out of her seat, running over to him. She grabbed hold of his sleeve, trying to drag him back. Please don't leave me, said Eri. Deku knelt down, so he was the same height as the small girl. I've got to go, but you'll be safe here. He's my friend, and he'll look after you until it's safe. Nezu raised an eyebrow at the word friend, but went with it. Please don't go, said Eri. How about I take you to meet one of my other friends? I'm sure you'll like him, and you'll be completely safe, I promise, said Deku. Eri slowly nodded. What room is Izuku in? Asked Deku. Izuku was still in the workshop with Hatsume. His new arm was coming along nicely, and hadn't exploded for a while, which was a good sign. Hatsume was soldering some circuitry when there was a knock at the door. Izuku hopped off his chair, wandering over to the massive door with a smile on his face. However, it was quickly replaced with shock when he saw he was on the other side. Hey bro, said Deku. Hatsume span around immediately at the sound of a different Deku's voice. It was the same pitch, but was notably more confident. You are here? Why are you here? Asked Izuku. Izuku looked down, seeing Eri clinging to Deku's hand. You have a child. Why do you have a child? Asked Izuku. Well, he has a speed quirk. Maybe he works fast, said Hatsume. Izuku span around, staring at Hatsume. That's not funny, said Izuku. It's a little funny, said Deku. Deku walked inside, offering his free hand to Hatsume. Call me Deku, said Deku. Me Hatsume, said Hatsume. Deku slapped Izuku on the back, laughing. And you say I work fast. You already got a cute girlfriend, said Deku. Izuku blushed like crazy, trying to form a coherent response. Hatsume merely smiled, not saying anything. Relax man, I'm just playing, said Deku. Are you seriously not going to explain the child? Said Izuku. Oh yeah, of course. I saved her from some villains, said Deku. Deku leaned closer to Izuku so he could whisper. He didn't feel comfortable talking about what Eri had gone through in front of her. She was torn apart over and over again. They were using her to make weapons, said Deku. Izuku felt a little sick. Slowly he knelt down so he was face to face with Eri. Hey, I'm Izuku Midoriya. What's your name? Said Izuku. Eri didn't respond, instead hid behind Deku's leg. It's okay, Eri. He's friendly. Eri cautiously moved out from behind him. I'm Eri. Why do you look like Deku? Said Eri. Izuku smirked. And that's because he's my brother, said Izuku. Where is your arm? Asked Eri. I lost it. I got hurt really bad, but I'm making a new arm right now, said Izuku. Deku felt quite guilty about that, but was relieved to see Izuku wasn't that badly affected. Take good care of her, said Deku. You're going? Asked Izuku. I'm not welcome here, but she needs protection. protection that I can't provide, said Deku. Don't worry. We have plenty of powerful babies to protect us, said Hatsume. What? Asked Deku. Don't mind her, said Izuku. The two of them took a step outside, the door, shutting the door behind them. What are you going to do? Asked Izuku. Well, there's still work to be done to take down Overhaul. After that, back to work. There are still criminals that need to be stopped, said Deku. You never give up, do you? Said Izuku. Deku smirked, putting his hand on Izuku's shoulder. Would you? Asked Deku. Izuku sighed. Take care, man. Don't get yourself killed, said Izuku. I'll try, said Deku. Deku walked back inside, giving Eri one last hug. The little girl had been distracted by Hatsume and Deku's new arm. I need to go now, Eri, said Deku. Don't leave, please. What if they come back? Said Eri. I promise you're safe here. There are a bunch of people here that are way stronger than me, so I swear you're safe. Izuku will look after you. He's just like me. Just nicer and a little lighter, said Deku. Eri let out a very small smile at Deku's joke as Izuku rolled his eyes. I'll be back soon, said Deku. Eri hugged Deku again, then Deku walked out of the room. Izuku walked him to the door to say a few final words. I know you don't want it, but there is a spot here, literally with your name on it if you ever change your mind, said Izuku. I know, but that's not my seat. It's yours. I never earned the right to call myself a hero, and until I can look in the mirror and see anything but a villain, I won't change. Thanks anyway, said Deku. The two hugged and Deku began walking away, only to stop a few steps away. I'm serious though. Ask her out. I know you like her, said Deku. No, I don't. Don't be ridiculous, said Izuku. We have the same face, and I recognize what a crush looks like. Don't worry, man. You got this, said Deku. Before Izuku could respond, Deku was gone. See you around, Deku, said Izuku. Izuku walked back inside to see Eri and Hatsume sword fighting with screwdrivers. Earlier, around the time Deku was arriving at UA, All Might smashed into the base of the Yakuza. I'm here, villains, said All Might. Several of the Yakuza grunts attacked All Might, only to be battered away, whilst most ran. However, no one was safe thanks to All Might's insane speed. Within seconds, everyone was unconscious apart from a few grunts. Only a particularly brave grunt ran at All Might head-on, his body covered in some sort of crystals, only for them to shatter under All Might's strength. Where is Izuku Midoriya, and where are the weapons you made? Said All Might. Who? Asked the grunt. Greenhead boy, speed quirk, said All Might. The grunt gritted his teeth in rage. Damn you, Deku, said Grunt. So he was here. Where did he go? Said All Might. I don't know. We thought he was a new ally, but he betrayed us, said the grunt. Where is your boss? Said All Might. I won't tell you. I'm no snitch, said the grunt. All Might groaned with annoyance before knocking the villain out. Where are you, Overhaul? Said All Might. At the same time, across the city, Overhaul and his friends stood in a dark warehouse, facing Shigaraki and the League of Villains. So, you said you needed a little problem you needed our help with. Why can't you handle it on your own? Said Shigaraki. I just need information on someone, said Overhaul. Very well. What's their name? Said Shigaraki. We don't know if it's real name or not, but he called himself Deku. Had some sort of speed quirk, said Overhaul. Shigaraki's face fell. He and Deku had been friends, but ever since Deku betrayed the League, Shigaraki had been forced to kill those feelings. I know him. Why do you want him? Said Shigaraki. He stole something from me. I want it back and his body underground, said Overhaul. Very well. I will give you what I know, but on one condition, said Shigaraki. What is it? Said Overhaul. When you find him, we get to kill him together. I'm not interested in whatever he stole. I just want to kill that traitor, said Shigaraki. Sounds great, said Overhaul. A few hours later, Deku was sat at home. He had ice packs on his ankles and knees, as well as his right arm. I should have been more careful earlier. I used too much power in that last punch, and all that running at max speed afterwards was stupid, said Deku. Deku groaned in pain. Maybe a day off tomorrow, said Deku. Deku lowered his head down to his pillow, but before he could fall asleep, his eyes shot open. With a massive crash, a hand shot out of the wall, grabbing hold of Deku's left arm, crushing the forearm, and forcing Deku to the ground. Deku looked up, seeing the horrific face of a Nomu staring back at him. I haven't missed these things, said Deku. Deku powered up, smashing his fist into the Nomu's face. Blood and bone flew across the room, but Deku wasn't released. He gulped as the Nomu's face warped and regrew, healing all the damage. Damn super regeneration, said Deku. Deku's arm bulged as he powered up further, ready to pummel the Nomu into a bloody puddle. But before he could even swing, his right arm was grabbed as well. Deku's eyes shot around to see Rapper twisting his arm behind his back. Deku was forced down to his knees as his door was blasted off its hinges. Slowly, Shigaraki and Overhaul walked through the smoke, followed by several other villains. A league of villains and Yakuza working together to take me down. I'm flattered, said Deku. No one verbally responded, but Muscular's massive gut punch made their feelings clear. Deku coughed up blood as Overhaul began to speak. Where is Eri? Said Overhaul. Deku looked up, blood dribbling from his mouth. Bite me, said Deku. Muscular punched Deku across the face, spraying blood at the wall. Easy, Muscular. We need him alive for now, said Shigaraki. Deku smiled at Shigaraki. Hey Shiggy, how's it going? Said Deku. Shut up. We aren't friends. You're a traitor, said Shigaraki. That's a bit mean, said Deku. Shigaraki nodded and Muscular punched Deku again. This time there was a loud crack as some of Deku's ribs broke. Where is Eri? Screamed Overhaul. Okay, I'll tell you. Just stop hitting me. Here's what you need to do. You need to go down to the pharmacy, ask for something called Viagra, and it will help you go screw yourself, said Deku. Deku laughed up some more blood before Muscular hit him again. You don't need to suffer like this. You've earned a quick death, so please let me grant you one, said Shigaraki. Deku looked over, glancing at Shigaraki. I'll never give her up, so you can try your best, but I won't crack, said Deku. Oh, I won't be so sure about that, said Namito. Deku looked up, seeing the all-black wearing Yakuza member walk out from behind Overhaul. Deku gulped. So, you remember my quirk, said Namito. Good. It's time to answer some questions. Namito activated his quirk, Confession, and began to talk. Where is Eri? Said Namito. Deku knew that he had to answer truthfully. That didn't mean he had to be accurate. Japan, said Deku. Namito smirked behind the mask. A tricky one. What is Eri's location? Deku gritted his teeth carefully, choosing each word. 120 miles away, said Deku. What is the name of this location? Said Namito. Deku was screwed. He couldn't think of any half-truths to get around this. Eventually the truth was pulled out of him. UA High School, said Deku. Namito got up, walking back to Overhaul's side. So, she's at UA, huh? That could be tricky. Overhaul, is she worth it? Asked Shigaraki. She is. She's the key to more money than anyone could possibly hope for, said Overhaul. Then, it looks like we're returning to UA. Nomu, kill him, said Shigaraki. Deku took a deep breath. He was okay if it ended here. The massive Nomu pulled back its massive black fist, ready to splatter Deku's head all over the walls. The massive punch shot forward like a cannonball, too fast for anyone to react. Well, anyone except for Deku. He might have been okay with it ending here, but he was definitely not going down without one hell of a fight. Deku quickly powered up to maximum, with both warmth roll and velocity, slowing down time down to a crawl. He glanced to his left, seeing the massive fist coming for his head, and leaned back, letting it pass harmony in front of his nose. "This next part is definitely going to hurt," said Deku. Deku used his massive strength of One for All to headbutt the outstretched arm of the Nomu, sending it spiraling to the ground, loosening its grip on his broken arm. That wasn't enough, though. Deku gritted his teeth and smashed his broken arm into Rapper's chest, sending him soaring through the window. Deku howled in pain, but staggered to his feet, grinning to the villains in front of him. Fueled by anger and adrenaline, Deku kicked the gnome in the back of the head, a loud crack as its spine shattered. "Come on then," said Deku. End of chapter 5.